So Canada put a charge on some of our companies, and Canada's been a very difficult country to deal with over the years. We hear Canada, we have a great relationship with the people of Canada, but it's been very difficult. And they put a charge, and they were a little bit early. We found out about it. So, and we have all the cards. We have every single one. We don't want to do anything bad, but they have economically, we have such power over Canada. I'd rather not use it, but they did something with our tech companies today, trying to copy Europe. They copied Europe. It's not going to work out well for Europe either, and it's not going to work out well for Canada. They were foolish to do it. So I said we're going to stop all negotiations with Canada right now until they straighten out their act. Okay?
Is there anything Canada can do to change your mind about this situation?
Well, no, they put a tax on companies that were American companies that they shouldn't have, very severe tax. And, I guess they could remove it. They will, but it doesn't matter to me. We have all the cards. We do a lot of business with Canada, but relatively little. They do most of their businesses with us. And when you have that circumstance, you treat people better. They've had farmers that are getting like 300, 400, 200% in tariffs. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We have cases, you don't read this and the people don't report, but they charge us 400% on some dairy products. 400%. Nobody writes that. It's not fair to our farmers, and we've got to protect our farmers.
So not only is Canada putting high tariffs on American dairy farmers and on other companies, it also seems like they pretty much don't even care about their own people. Let's get into this. Here we go. Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm putting out today is something that I want a lot of people to mull over this weekend and the next time you go grocery shopping. As you've seen in the first video, President Trump is speaking out against Canada raising tariffs on American companies and on American dairy farmers, which everybody knows when you raise high tariffs on companies, it's going to basically affect the economy. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. Well, what about, President Trump when he was raising tariffs on other countries? He was doing it in order for everyone to lower their prices and lower their tariffs. And I know, again, some people will say, well, why can't Canada do that? And by all means, they can. But here's a problem with a part of that video that I showed you, because it sparked something that I came across a long time ago. And it's the fact that, it's not that Canada doesn't have the right, okay, to raise tariffs for whatever the case is, but if what I show you what I'm going to show you shows that Canada doesn't care about companies outside America, in my opinion, and they definitely do not care about the people inside their country. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the information that I came across, and then I want everyone to leave messages and tell me what you think. Let me know if I'm looking at all this wrong, because me personally, I don't think so. I think once again we have a country. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of countries in America that I also point the finger to where they know how to waste products, raise prices, and they all hide it under the guise of supply and demand. Okay? And we wonder why so many people go hungry, not only in America, not only in Canada, but all around the world. And it's basically greed. It's something that Trump is trying to put an end to. Something that he's trying to do is basically make it affordable for everyone. Whereas other countries, like I said, they don't even care about their own people as a whole. Not a certain group or whatever the case is, but as a whole. And we'll get into that. But Before I continue, I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and pass the channel around. And just a quick side note, this video, I have nothing against the people of Canada. Okay, I have a lot of subscribers here and on Rumble, Canadian. Like you people know me, you know my content, you know how I feel about human life and all that. But it is to show how when you have like a draconian system, okay, you'll understand more. Like, are they really for the people or not? And more times than none, they're not for the people. They just have a draconian system because they want to be in total control. Okay, so you heard what President Trump had to say. I came across this video. I'm gonna let this guy speak a little bit. Just pay attention. Okay, I want you to pay attention, and you're gonna see. You guys are smart enough. You'll see what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Donald Trump has made a claim about how unfair Canada is, using numbers so high they're kind of hard to believe.
They're charging us over 200% for dairy products, 250%, 270% tariff.
And he's right. He's right. But Trump's claim is an attack on Canada's so-called supply management system. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to put you to sleep with all the boring details of how it works yet, but supply management in the context of dairy is just basically how Canada strictly controls production, prices, and foreign access to this country's dairy market in order to protect it. That last one, foreign access, is where Trump's 250, 270% tariff number comes in. Because indeed, skimming through this 1,400-page tariff schedule, we can see milk and cream, low fat. Canada charges a 241% tariff on imports. As the fat content goes up, so does the tariff rate, up to 292.5%.
Canada has been ripping us off for years.
Yogurt is where you'll find 250.5% tariffs, and whether you're talking about powdered buttermilk at 208% or butter itself at 298.5%, maybe these rates do seem kind of crazy, especially coming from a country like Canada that thinks a mere 25% tariff imposed on its goods is too much.
He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses, and we cannot let him succeed.
But let's ask the question, how often does anybody actually pay these incredibly high tariff rates?
Okay, now I'm going to end it right there because this guy that put this, it's funny how Trump talks about what's going on, what Canada's doing, and then all of a sudden, this video, which is almost 13 minutes long, it's put together right away, coming out of Canada, I believe, CBN News, or whatever it is, CBC News or CBN News, whatever, okay? And I just found this strange, like how fast can they put a video together? Now, I looked at the timeline, okay, of when this was put out. Let me just go back a little bit, okay? This was put out, what to say there, an hour ago, okay, by the Post. And it's like, well then, how in the world did they put this video together so fast in order to try to knock down what Trump is saying? Now, as the video goes on, all right, where in the first video where Trump says that they're charging up to 400%, they come out and say in this video that that's an exaggeration. He is right that they are raising tariff percentages by 250% or a little more than that, but not 400. Okay, that's fine. So he over-exaggerated just a little bit, okay? Or a lot, depending on how you see it. Now, here's my thing, and this is what sparked me to do this video, because of something that I seen. Like I said, it had to be definitely over a year ago, almost maybe 2 years ago, okay? Now, to put a little bit of context into what I'm saying, just so everybody knows, I did a little bit of research, all right? The regular gallon of milk in Canada is about $8 right now. Okay, it's around $8 Canadian for a gallon of milk in Canada. Okay? And everybody might be asking, well, that's a lot because, Canadian money is different, but that equates to almost $6, a little less than $6 US money. Now, we do get a lot of dairy products from Canada. And if anybody's been to a supermarket, especially, let's just say a supermarket like Publix, okay, and I like shopping at Publix. If you go to their dairies, especially with the boar's head and all that, they have different cheeses coming from Canada, stuff like that, and it could be a bit pricey. Okay, never mind any kind of milk products. And I know that it goes back and forth from country to country, whatever the case is. Supposedly, Mexico buys more milk from us. Okay, and I don't know what the price is. You know what? I mean, we can look up. It's probably way less anyway because of their money value. But it made me wonder, why is Canada doing this? Because we all know what's going on, especially with the new leftist regime in Canada. They're going to try to hit back on President Trump no matter what. Okay, no matter what. But is Trump wrong for saying that? No, he's not. He's not wrong for saying that, for the simple fact that Trump has been laying out tariffs all around the world, and his end result is that we can lower tariffs on you down to like as low as 10%, like he's done with some other countries. And America could take that money and use that towards the government, and then that lowers prices for us to consume, because we'll be able to make more of those products here, especially when it comes to milk, whatever dairy. We just reopen up the farms, fuel, start drilling some more for fossil fuels and stuff. Well, I shouldn't say fossil fuels because that's a whole other story, but for fuel, okay? And people have a problem with that. Okay, people have a problem with that because they want the big money, because in their eyes, it's all about supply and demand. Supply and demand. And Trump's attitude is, if we have our own supply, an abundance of our own supply, okay, and we make our products, it'll be cheaper for us, okay, and of course another country's going to tariff us on some stuff, and we'll tariff them back, but they'll use that money, that extra 10%, to basically run their governments. People want you to believe that's not how it is, but if you think about it, that's exactly how it is. They're just trying to change it around, because me as a businessman, okay, if let's just say I make bubble gum wrappers, okay, now I know what it's going to cost me to get supplies to make 1 million bubble gum wrappers, okay. One company wants to buy 100,000 off of me. Anything over 100,000, it'll get cheaper and cheaper. Same thing goes with my t-shirts. The t-shirts that I sell, the reason why I sell them at a certain price with for the moment, I mean, the way things are going with free shipping and no tax, is because anything after, let's say, 25, 50 shirts, the t-shirt company that puts my shirts together, prints them and all that, makes it cheaper for me. They charge me cheaper. So I just say, you know what? If they're making it cheaper, then I don't have to charge anybody tax and shipping and handling. Okay? And I hope everybody's with me, and I hope, I'm explaining it, right, to a certain degree. If not, leave it in the comments. But this is just the way I see it, because it just makes sense this way. Especially working in the field of construction, when I need to buy an abundance of, let's say, sheetrock, okay, I'm not going to go to Home Depot to buy it, because Home Depot is going to charge me their regular price per piece, and after a certain amount, a big amount, they'll give me a better, a discount. But if I go straight to the warehouse, no matter how much I buy, they're going to give me a discount no matter what. And especially if I buy 100 sheets, it's definitely going to be way cheaper on the price than if I bought 100 sheets at Home Depot. So you see how everybody carries. The more you buy, the cheaper it gets. Canada's trying to pull this to try and hurt the American dairy farmer. Okay? Stay with me, folks. This is going to take a minute. So people are saying, well, Trump, because it's going to come out. They're going to start complaining Trump is doing the wrong thing. Now Canada's hitting back, and Canada is going to wind up hurting the American dairy farmer. But here's the thing. Canada doesn't even care about their own dairy farmers and their own people. Okay? So this whole thing that Canada's doing, it's out of spite. And the reason why I say that is because the next video that I'm going to show you, I'm going to let it play, provided, I have to do a little bit of editing. But this was put out about 2 years ago, and it was trying to be suppressed throughout mainstream media, and especially in Canada. Okay? And some of you might know the video I'm going to play, but I'm going to play it. And this goes to show you that, you know what, when it comes to supply and demand, if these these world leaders that say that, like you just heard the leader of Canada saying that Donald Trump, is doing something wrong that's going to hurt people of Canada, who is actually hurting the people of Canada first? Okay? So with that being said, let's get to the next video clip. Here we go.
Hey guys, we're here at Bigbronxboy Farm in Southern Ontario. We milk about 260 cows. Right now during the winter months, you milk quite a bit more milk because the feed is very consistent. And as you do a good job, you will produce quite a bit of milk. So, but right now we're over our quota. It's regulated by the government and by the DFO. But the problem is what they don't understand is millions of people look at this milk running away because it's the end of the month. So tomorrow I dump 30,000 liters of milk. It breaks my heart. I will show you.
Okay, I'm going to stop it real quick. When he came out and said it breaks my heart, it was almost as if this man wanted to cry. I'm going to do that again so you guys could see the expression on his face. It's disgusting.
So tomorrow I dump 30,000 liters of milk. It breaks my heart.
You see that right there? That look right there tells me that this is a man who works so hard in his life. And the people that work around him, they work so hard to try to provide something for the people. Okay? Now, I know his voice is a little hard to understand. What he's basically is saying is that Canada forces farmers to dump thousands upon thousands of gallons of milk. Okay? And it's all to control the supply and demand. It's horrible. So for the Canadian leader to come out and say that what Trump is doing, or whatever the case is, that is going to hurt, what do you say, Canadian farmers or Canadian citizens, or whatever the case is, who exactly is hurting their own people? Let's continue.
I will show you. By the way, this here, Canadian milk, it's $7 a liter. When I go for my haircut, people say, wow, $7, Jerry, for a little bit of milk. I say, well, you have to go higher up.
Now, this milk right here, sorry people, I knew I said I wasn't going to cut it, but I have to. This is Fairlife. This is the milk you get either at any supermarket, and I believe you find it a lot in like Dollar General, Family Dollar. I believe they sell this milk, if I'm correct. But I know like Publix sells it. Okay, and it's not cheap. Okay, you're looking at $4 or $5 a gallon. But now you have to look at this and say, wait a minute. Why are they dumping so much good milk? Why don't they keep it, where they can lower the prices for Canadians and for Americans alike, considering the fact that they ship a lot of this milk into America? Why raise prices on tariffs when all you got to do is import more milk? It makes it cheaper, okay? And the price of the tariff on the milk, or whatever the case is, whatever the product is, goes down. And that goes back and forth. America into Canada, Canada into America. Because they don't want to. Okay? They don't want to. And you have to look at this and be like, wait a minute. Which world leaders exactly are trying to do the right thing? Because the way I see it, Trump is not trying to raise tariffs on other countries out of spite. He's trying to do it for a few reasons. Number one, he wants more companies to stay in America and make products in America, so like that the price is cheaper for Americans. That's number one. Number two, does he want to charge tariffs from other on products from other countries coming in? Yes, but this whole thing that he was doing with the tariffs, raising them high and then lowering them, you're gambling. That's basically what it is. You're calling bluffs. And yes, he is going to lower the prices on tariffs, but it's because he wants to use that money to run the government. and vice versa. He's all for tariffs, other countries charging American products tariffs, but not at a high price, like China. Everything that we make that goes to China, China's tariffing it, 100, 125%, whatever the case is, even though things now are like, they're going back and forth with these tariff wars. But this is one of the reasons why. Why can't Canada keep all this dairy milk in Canada to make their cheeses, whatever the case is, and bring down the prices for Canadians instead of dumping it? Because they don't want to. Let's continue.
Because we have no say anymore as a dairy farmer on our own farm. Because they make us dump it. And no matter how we stand up, so this time I'm going public. I want the people to see the pain that us growers have of 365 days. As a little boy, we grew up on a dairy farm, came from Europe. Work.
Look at all that milk dumping.
This is what's happening.
Look at all that milk, the way it dumps out. I mean, it's just, there's so... It just kills me. There are so many people around the world that are starving. Right now, they're dumping this milk just out onto the ground. If they don't want to resell it for a cheaper price, then damn it, why can't you bottle it and send it to like Africa? Send it to war zones. Send it to people that truly need it. I mean, it just baffles my mind how these draconian leaders could just do this and put the pressure on the dairy farmers and not even care that, you know what? Let's not dump this. If we're trying to control the market, which I think is wrong in the first place, but why dump it? Let's just give it out, to others. You know what I'm saying? It really pisses me off, but let's continue.
Work. And here we are. This is what's happening. Oh, by the way, only one country in the world here in Canada. There's not the United States, not Europe, where they dump thousands of liters when they're over.
Look at that.
But we're not supposed to talk about this because, I don't know, it's just one of those things. But as it's happening, I hope the DFO does look at this and says to herself, you tell me, if you're in the pig business, the wood industry, any steel industry, if you're 10% over when your times are good, how can you, so for us when it's good, our little bit of profit, it goes down the drain. How you guys dare to put this product on the market for $7 a liter and think that that's okay when there's a lot of mothers, single mothers with no extra, they have maybe a few kids to feed or whatever, or the sick kids hospital it could go to. It could go anywhere, to the food banks. But I hope you're proud, and I think you're going to be surprised, because yes, my name is Jerry Hewitt. And I'm very proud that we send a really good product. And that you just kind of tell us, well, throw it down the drain. Nobody sees it. It's okay, but it's not okay.
There you go. Okay. Now, he does talk some more, but for sake of time, I'm going to leave it at that. You heard what he said, okay, about the extra 10%. He says no other country in the world does this. Not America, nobody, only in Canada. Where they have a surplus, and instead of lowering prices and making it easier and more affordable and accessible for others, like he's saying single moms and stuff like that to get it, no, they rather dump it to control the prices. He mentioned wood and the steel industry. The same thing in America, like I was just saying, as somebody that works carpentry, when I want to save the client money on materials, instead of me going to Home Depot, I'll go straight to the source. I'll go to the warehouse and get it for cheaper. I make the price cheaper for them on their materials for the job that I'm doing. I give them a better price instead of charging them top dollar, and so on and so forth. That's how it goes on. This is what I'm saying, that Trump wants companies in America to build stuff here, cars, make the metal, make the wood, whatever we got to do, mill the wood, whatever we got to do here, to take away from getting it from other countries. But if we do, it won't be as much, because we got the bulk of it here, which makes it cheaper here and makes it cheaper on our pocket. Okay? Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say. Well, this was 2 years ago. Okay? Now, he just said this was 2 years ago. He just said that liter of milk was $7. I just showed you today, as of today, it's around $8. So it's gone up $1. in Canada. Okay? So I came across an article because I was like, you know what? Let me see what's going on. Okay? And this was put out last year in 2024. Now I'm going to read some of this article, and I want you guys, leave it in the comments please, and you tell me how this makes sense. Okay? Before I do that, let me read you one little snippet over here. Okay? Now right here where it says, right here, okay, I'm going to maximize this. Since 2012, okay, Canada has dumped 6.8 billion, okay, and 10 billion liters. I don't know why they wrote it like that, but Canadian dairy farmers have discarded between 6.8 billion and 10 billion liters of milk since 2012. Okay? This lost product could have fed up to 4.2 million Canadians each year. Think about that. Okay? So I'll go to the next one. Supply management quotas. Okay? Canadian dairy farmers discard millions of liters of on-farm milk every year due to supply management quotas, according to a study by a Dalhousie, whatever that is, university. This milk dumping contributes to environmental degradation and resource misuse. I'm trying to wrap my head around how they're wording this stuff, because it just sounds like, and I'm going to read the article, it sounds like they're getting just a bunch of high-dollar professors to just spew a lot of words together to try to make you understand why they're doing it, but all you have to do is read between the lines, and it makes no sense. Okay, let's go to the article. Okay, where was I? Right here. Canadian dairy farmers. Okay, let me maximize this a little more, because whoever wrote this article, I mean, they just put it up wrong. But it says, Canadian dairy farmers are dumping billions of liters of milk. Now, mind you, this was put out last year. Okay? And where's the part? Well, let me minimize this. Okay. It says, in the vast... No, what was that? It right there? Bear with me, people. Okay? Because they wrote this in a way that, like I said, it just makes no sense. Okay? In the vast and verdant lands of Canada, a surprising fact is set to emerge. Over 6 billion liters of milk have been wasted since 2012, with higher estimates suggesting the figure could be closer to 10 billion over the last decade. Now, mind you, the rumor is they've been doing this for the past 50 years. Okay, so we won't get into that. Let's just stick with these, up-to-date facts. Okay. Milk valued at up to 14.9 billion Canadian dollars have been discarded on Canadian dairy farms since 2012. This staggering amount of waste, detailed in a study, now this is where it gets tricky here, detailed in a study slated for publication in January by the Ecological Economics Journal, the top environmental economics journal in the world, reflects an outdated system that misaligns with today's environmental imperatives and market demands. Canada's dairy supply management system, uniquely designed to match milk supply with demand through production quotas, theoretically should ensure not a single drop of milk is wasted on the farm, unlike other countries where market fluctuations can lead to overproduction and subsequent waste. That right there, where they say overproduction and subsequent waste, that makes no sense. There is no such thing, okay, at least in my opinion, when it comes to food, there is no such thing as overproduction that's going to make it go to waste. Okay, one little fact that I'm going to throw in. When I was younger, I worked at a restaurant in Manhattan, New York. Okay, it was a Greek restaurant. It was like a diner type thing. Great food. And we will always make the menu for the day. Okay, every day we had to make, let's say, 2 trays of lasagna, 2 trays of this, whatever the case was. We had to make, because they're going by how many people they estimate to come in day after day on the weekends. Every day is different. I worked there like summertime 7 days a week. It didn't bother me none. It was free food, making money. It was great. But we had two giant gray, they were like 70, what was it, 50 gallon or 75 gallon garbage containers. It was actually like three of them, okay? Every single night, whatever didn't sell, whatever solid trays of food, whatever it was didn't sell, we had to dump it. All of it. Okay? Dump it all into those garbage cans. They had these giant, heavy-duty black bags. They looked like body bags. Tie it all up, wheel it outside the back of the restaurant, leave it on the sidewalk so somebody will come and just, some garbage company will come and pick it all up. And then you would see homeless people outside coming in and rummaging through the bags. And what was so heartbreaking and disgusting was that it was all kinds of food just slopped in these giant garbage containers. Okay? And it bothered me for so long, and so finally I came in and I asked the manager, why don't we, you know, instead of throwing it all in the garbage cans, why don't we, you know, when we close, keep the door open in the back, let the homeless come in and take it? He goes, we can't. And I said, why? He goes, because they can sue us. I'm like, what do you mean they're going to sue us? He goes, the way the laws are, we're not allowed to give it away, because if we do and somebody gets sick, they can sue us, or they can claim to have gotten sick, they can sue us. So right there, we already know the system's broken. Okay? It's broken. But then another company will come, and I can't remember, I'm just going to say Meals on Wheels. I'm not saying that was a company, it was a long time ago, but it was a company like that. They will come, and whatever it was, once a month I think it was, they will put food to the side, so they will come and get it, and then they will go distribute it. But the food that they will take, it wasn't the hot food, it was fruits and vegetables, basically. Okay? And then they will go and take it and repackage it and do what they got to do. So all that food is going to waste. 29, 30 days out of the whatever, depending on the month, that food will go to waste. So for this article to put this out here, okay, that if there's an excess, it's going to go to waste, I'm calling bullshit. Total bullshit. Okay? Because number one, you don't have to waste any of it. All you have to do is just sell all of it at a cheaper price. Especially when it comes to dairy products. Everybody and their mother always wants to shop and have dairy products in their fridge. Milk, eggs, cheese, yogurt, whatever, especially yogurt. What's the best thing you could do to feed your kids? Yogurt. Cheeses. Okay? It makes no sense. Now, I'm going to continue. Well, where did I leave off so I can start again? Canada's system aims to provide stability for farmers while meeting consumer needs efficiently. However, the reality is starkly different. Farmers incentivized to maximize outputs to safeguard against variable low lactation rates often produce more milk than required, leading to significant waste. You see how they're trying to change this? This is their meaning. This is their train of thought. Here's the spin, which makes no sense, because you're dumping the milk anyway. Okay? They're trying to make it seem, and if I'm getting this wrong, somebody leave it in the comments. They're making it seem that they need to dump that. Okay, they need to dump the excess. However, the reality is starkly different. Farmers incentivized to maximize outputs to safeguard against variable cow lactation rates often produce more milk than required, leading to significant waste. But if the farmer is farming the cows, they're going to produce that milk no matter what. Okay? Why dump it? It's not like if you're dumping it, the cow's going to look at it and just stop producing milk. No, as long as you got that cow in that farm and you got them set up to be dairy cows, they're going to keep producing milk. With water, you keep watering them and feeding them and do what you got to do. They're going to keep producing. Okay? This is a very... The way they put this article together, like I said, you just have to read between the lines. everything they're saying, it sounds good, but it makes no sense. Okay, it says this forthcoming research, a collaborative effort by authors from 3 different universities across 3 countries, underscores the global relevance of the issues at hand. The implications of their findings extend beyond greenhouse gases. Look at that. Extend beyond greenhouse gases. The production of this wasted milk has consumed approximately 920 to 1,900 square kilometers of arable land and between 930 million to 1.9 billion cubic meters of water over 10 years. These figures underscore a critical misuse of resources in a world where water scarcity and land degradation are ever escalating concerns. So, they see that there's a problem here because they're using all these resources to basically feed the cows, take care of the cows, just to waste milk. So then why not sell the rest of that milk so they can keep maintaining their lands? In other words, if you got 10 cows that are producing 100 gallons of milk a week, but you're throwing away 30 gallons of milk, and then you're going to complain, well, you know what? These cows are taking up they're using up all these resources. Then why don't you just sell the other 30 gallons of milk and make the money so you could keep maintaining your lands? You see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. It really is. It goes. It's also 8.4 million tons of CO2 emissions, which is like adding 330,000 cars to our transportation grid. So you're worried about all the CO2, but you're still letting the cows produce all this milk and just dumping it. Where you can sell the milk at a cheaper price, people will keep buying it. You're not going to expand on your land if you're already producing X amount. It's a waste that you're producing an X amount, you're dumping X amount, but yet you're going to complain about CO2 gases and wasting water and wasting land, which I don't believe in any of that. I'm sorry, I just don't, because as the Lord Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, when God came out and gave us the world and said, be fruitful and go multiply, nothing we do to this planet, short of having a total nuclear meltdown, nothing we do to this planet will ever stop it from producing what we need as human beings. The only thing that's going to stop that is man, companies, draconian laws, people being greedy. I don't know, governments like Canada telling their farmers dump 30,000 gallons of milk. You see what I'm saying? Instead of giving it to people so they can get up, so they can be fed, so they can start being fruitful, that's not what they want. It is not what they want, and it's horrible. Let's read a little more and we'll end it. It says, moreover, this system's rigidity does not reflect the shifting dietary performances of Canadians, many of whom are turning towards plant-based alternatives due to health, ethical, or environmental reasons. Why do they have to do that? First, you put the fear in people that this is what the cows are doing. We got to slow down on the cows because they're putting out CO2 emissions. So people are getting scared. So you get them all scared with the whole climate change and climate agenda. And now you want them to go to plant-based stuff, which in all honesty, you're not going to get the same nutrients from plants that you're going to get from cows. God made no mistakes. Okay? He made no mistakes. As a matter of fact, when you look at goat's milk, okay, which people in a lot of countries swear by, and I've had goat's milk and it's very good, it's just expensive. Why? Because they wind up cornering the market on that. But now just imagine if goat's milk and cow's milk was both produced and sold at the same rate. Then people have 2 choices of milk, and you don't have to go to plant-based crap. Okay? God didn't make grass for us to eat. He made grass for cows and goats to eat so they can produce what we need. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but it's funny. Get into the heart of this conversation. The way Canada is going to go and try to do this to the American dairy farmer, putting those high tariffs, and then saying that Trump is trying to hurt the farmers of Canada. You're doing it yourself to your own. You're doing it to yourself to your own. You're wasting milk, which you can freely give to people that can't afford it, or whatever the case is. You can freely put it out in the market to lower the prices on everything else, but that's not what you want to do. And then to have 3 university professors from 3 different countries to come and weigh in. Listen, I'm going to take the word of a dairy farmer over a damn professor any given day. I'm going to take the word of a butcher over a professor, a fisherman over a professor. I'd rather take the word of a veterinarian over a professor. And a veterinarian, yes, because if I own a dairy farm, I'm not calling a professor to help me with my cows if one of them gets sick. I'm calling a veterinarian. Okay? But leave it up to these world governments and then try to spin things around and try to make it seem like President Trump is trying to hurt everyone. No, what he's trying to do, he's trying to level out the playing field. He's trying to make it easier for people to afford good food, have good jobs, save money, own their own home. We have way too much open land all around this world, all around the world. But the government, I should say governments, they'd rather put a hold on land, make it into a resort, and then charge people out the ass and say, well, you know what, that's what you pay for. You're paying for luxury. Never mind the homeless people. And I'm blaming the government here in America too, don't get me wrong. But never mind the homeless people, never mind the people that are hungry. No, we rather just throw food away and then build a chain link fence around certain parts of the countries and make them into resorts, and then bring in that same milk from the same cow that they're milking from, that they're dumping milk from, and when you go to that resort, that $1 cup of milk now it costs $8 on the menu. It just, you see what I'm saying? It's like, why would Canada throw away all that milk when all they got to do is lower the price? Because they don't want to. Okay. It says the Canadian Dairy Commission's a crown corporation plays a pivotal role in overseeing these quotas. The mandate of the CDC needs a significant overhaul to reflect contemporary values and realities. Making milk waste on farms illegal would be a crucial first step. Yes, it should be. Additionally, the CDC should design a rescue program for surplus milk, converting it into powdered milk and storing it in a strategic reserve similar to what is already done with butter. This would not only reduce waste, but also provide a buffer against market fluctuations and ensure that surplus milk benefits Canadians rather than becoming an environmental liability. Okay, and the rest goes on and on. It's just so asinine. Okay, the way world leaders look at things and make it seem like, you know what Trump is trying to do, what President Trump is trying to do, is trying to hurt us. No, he's not. He's trying to make people understand. If we can keep companies in our country, okay, we can lower the prices of products here, okay, and only charge like a 10% tariff to ship the products to you, whatever the case is. You tack on 10% to that, it's not really costing that much, and vice versa. Okay? It goes back to like California. If Gavin Newsom would implement strategies in place to really help whenever, because California has a lot of wildfires, if they can implement strategies in place to not only to reduce but to minimize these crazy wildfires, they eat up so much land and it takes years to regrow. Look at how much more land we could have to have bigger dairy farms, bigger meat farms. That will bring the prices down. It brings jobs. I mean, major jobs, massive jobs. Okay? And it goes on and on and on and on. But no, if Trump's talking about it, nope, can't do it. And then some people will say, well, I bet if a Democrat did that, they'd be happy with it. Yes and no. Yes, they would. Okay? A lot of people on the left would like that, but here's the thing. The left doesn't want to do that. They don't want to lift up and empower people. They want everybody to be confined to one little area. This is what you're going to make. This is what you're going to eat, and you're going to be happy. We're going to control the land. We're going to take no steps to stop or to minimize the wildfires. And on top of that, we're going to wind up cutting off the water and tell everybody you could only wash your ass once a week. So therefore, you can't have all these big farms. But when you have, I don't know, like a winery in California that needs all kinds of acres of land, all kinds of water because they want to make their top dollar bottle of wine, that's okay. That's okay. Something that not every person wants or needs or benefits from, and when I say benefit, meaning money-wise, that's okay. Because when you have a dairy farm, when you have a meat farm, that benefits more people than selling wine. But they'd rather have the wine farms and sell bottles of wine at top dollar because it only benefits a select population. But when it comes to meat and dairy and all that, that services everybody, provided you're not a vegetarian. But they don't want that. They want everybody, like in Canada, to struggle to pay for, and that wasn't even a gallon of milk. That was half a gallon of milk that he was saying that was $7. Okay? They rather have you pay more money for just a regular. I mean, not that any meat is cheap, really. Okay? I don't consider any cut of meat cheap. I mean, expensive, yeah, but not cheap when it comes to when it comes to nutritional value. People may beg to differ with me, but that's fine. That's your prerogative. But it's like, you can have these meat farms and have an abundance of it where the prices go down. So if I buy a chuck steak and you want to buy a ribeye, that's just between you and me. Okay? To each his own. But why do I gotta pay with the prices now? What's chuck steak now? $13.99 a pound for chuck steak? Ribeye is $25, $27 a pound? Are you kidding me? It was just a few years ago, chuck steak was like $3, $4, $5.99 a pound. But they'll come with this whole thing about supply and demand. Why? Because they want to control the prices. They want to keep people down. They don't care. So for that Canadian leader to come out and say that, what's going on is Trump's fault and he's over-exaggerating on the tariffs. Okay, so he said 400%. I'm sorry, like 250% is not high enough? It doesn't matter if it's 100, anything over 100%, anything over 50% is just, it's insane. So who cares, 250% or 400%? Either way, it's still a lot. While the whole time, they're dumping tens of thousands of gallons of milk. And then they try to silence the farmers and all that. And the same thing goes on here in the States. We've heard about it during the Obama administration and Biden, where they were paying farmers not to grow, where they were paying farmers to destroy their crops. Why? Why would you do that? Being born and raised in the Bronx, you get to go upstate a lot. There's a lot of farms. A lot of farms. Now, I don't know about now, but growing up as a kid, we would go to the apple orchards, we would go to the onion farms, the corn farms, whatever they had up there, especially the apple orchards. It gets to the point that you don't even have to pay to go to the apple orchards. And if you're from New York, you know what I'm talking about. You as much as drive up, you can't even get into the orchard because all they do is take all the apples and bring them to the front of the orchard and lay them on the ground, and you just drive up with a basket. You take as many damn apples as you want and just leave. because the farmers made their quotas, or they're still, like, they're still picking them in the back end of the farm. If I that's what I was told. If I'm still correct on it, I don't know. But they would take whatever surplus they had and brought it to the front, and sometimes they would have somebody there, and it was like $1 a bushel. You pay them $1, you go in there with a big basket, or they give you a giant basket, and you have, 200, 300, 400 damn apples. You know what I'm saying? Because they were giving back to the people. We got what we need to make our applesauce and do whatever we got to do. We're not going to use all this. Before it gets cold, it all turns to mush and goes to waste. Take it. Okay? But no, leave it up to people like this in Canada to go and make these moves, and then try to silence the farmers, and then try to talk down about what Donald Trump wants to do. It's insane, people. It truly, truly is insane. But I know the video is long. Do some more research on what's going on, because I just think this is ridiculous. And you know what's funny? To all you leftist protesters out there, you want to protest about stuff like this. Okay? That I can get behind you. If you want to go and protest to all the wasted food, okay, they could be utilized on two very important fronts. One, to lower the prices, where they can produce more of it, because I don't believe when it comes to food that we can ever have an overabundance, especially when it's cheap. Okay? And I don't want to hear that the government gives a flying rat's ass about my health. They don't want me to eat a lot. That's none of their damn business. I'll eat as much as I want to eat. I'll drink as much as I want to drink. I'll smoke as much as I want to smoke. You put it out on the market, I'll find a way to pay for it. But to tell me you care about my health, stop selling cigarettes. To tell me you care about my cholesterol, stop selling butter or whatever it is that brings high cholesterol. But as long as you're giving the okay to produce it, who are you to destroy it at the same time and raise the prices on me and say this because you're worried about the environment and my health? What about the people that are starving? What about them? What about the poor people in so many places on the planet that can't produce, I shouldn't say produce, that don't have the means to drill for just water? You can use a lot of that money from all the wasted food products, all the wasted milk, and utilize it to open up more water wells in different parts of, let's say, Africa. Okay, or the Middle East. But no, it just has to be a waste. And then they'll go and blame it on the consumer, telling us we got to stop eating red meat because our farts are contributing, okay, to destroying the ozone layer. It makes no sense. And you don't need professors from universities to help anyone understand this. Okay? I don't care what degree you hold. I don't care what schooling you had. When you're hungry, you're hungry. Doesn't matter how rich, how poor. When your body says you're hungry, you're hungry. And more times than none, in this day and age, millions, hundreds of millions of people on this planet are going to bed without as much as a cup of milk. It's ridiculous, man. It truly is. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your families. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.